to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Oh, man, I probably should have done like the cold shower.
Yes, cold showers do get that.
Or even just, just like swapped it into a hot shower. Like done the icy hot in the shower and just stood there like a rotisserie chicken for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that would have been a way to do it.
Because it's been a time, dude. It has been a time for us in our personal lives. But hey, this is the happiest we've been in a long time for this team, weirdly.
Yeah. I know we're only 8 games into this season, but think about it this way. You're a 10th of the way into the season. We're having fun.
We haven't felt this good in a really long time, and it feels weird.
It does. So I liken it to the fact that this team, I think the last time we felt this way about this team was probably the beginning of the 21-22 season, which was the first season that we started doing JJ Jackets. They started off 12-6.
Oh yeah.
Now, obviously, we're not off to a 12-6 start, but there's been so much to love about how they've played, even in games that they haven't won. I think the best example would probably be the Florida Panthers game that they lost 4-3 was a good game. But, it is a little funny. Like they're 4-3-1 right now. So I got my wish.
You got your expectations already.
We are above 500 according to NHL standings rules for the first time in 3 years.
Jeez.
I am not mistaken, and I'm fairly certain that's correct.
Something like that. At least 2.
So, yeah. So like that's big. But most importantly, the thing I cared about most, I'm having fun.
You're enjoying every single game.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like for me, it's a matter of just trying to make time to catch games on days that I can.
Yeah.
Because, night shift worker.
Watch soon so you don't miss their next 6-goal game.
I was going to say, I can watch tomorrow. I've got tomorrow off when I'm putting this show together.
I already got 4 this season in 8. They've scored 6 goals in a game in half their games this season.
It's insanity, man. Putting up a touchdown in 4 of 8 games.
It's crazy, but I will say the one thing is they need to get a kicker because they haven't gotten a single PAT.
I think it's hard because we're missing potential kickers.
Well, I think we're missing a long snapper too.
We're missing a long snapper. We're missing potential kickers. We could be getting that kicker back sooner rather than later in Dmitry Voronkov.
Yes. A shit kicker, if you will.
It's definitely a shit kicker. But how about some donkey defenders, my friend?
Yes.
As y'all know, the quest for the Stanley Cup has been on for about a month now. It's crazy that we're almost to Halloween.
Yes.
The puck dropped on 24/25. Get in on the action with our buddies at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the National Hockey League. It's super easy. All you got to do is go on there, sign up with our promo code, of course. Bet $5 and you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. And the first bet is simple. All you got to do is pick a team to win on the money line, or you can pick over under for goals, pick an anytime goal scorer. There's really small bets you can make for your first one, and they're really simple. So what do we got? I know our odds against the Islanders when this is coming out are not favoring us, but hey, we've defied expectations.
You know what though? Plus 136 isn't bad. It's
not that bad.
it's shifted a bit towards, giving a little bit more favorability to the Blue Jackets. Now, the one thing I would say about this game is the over-under is at 6. I would probably bet the under because the Blue Jackets just scored 6 goals in a game and they're facing the Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
Probably means that this is going to be a low-scoring game.
Well, the Islanders are always very stingy.
Yes. So that is the one thing I would say. I would probably bet the under on that. Under is at plus 105. So I think that's actually pretty good value.
I like this one later on in the evening between the Flames and Utah.
Mm-hmm.
That money line is a plus 100 for Calgary and a minus 120 for the Hockey Club, who are just coming off of blowing a 4-1 lead to the Sharks.
Yeah, I'd go in on Utah there.
And then didn't Calgary get shut out against Vegas in their
They
last
did.
game? Ugh.
Nothing.
Oh boy, that one could turn out kind of ugly, but really fun.
Yeah. I would say if you're gonna bet on the Blue Jackets Islanders game, I would bet if you're going money line, bet on the Blue Jackets. If you're going puck line, go with the Islanders minus 1.5. I think those have good value. Money line for the Blue Jackets is plus 136. If you're doing money line at minus 1.5, all you need to do is have the Islanders win by 2. That's a goal plus an empty netter at 160. I think those are both good pays. So those are the ones I would do for that game.
If you're looking for an anytime goal scorer, just wait. We might have one in our Donkey Defender today. So, if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly, right away. So all you got to do, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see DKNG.co/ice. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved. Flawless read.
It was. Maybe you deserve a Donkey Defender.
Maybe I do. Hey, my birthday's coming up in a week after this drops.
Yes.
So, I don't know. Which reminds me, for a late birthday present, come say hi to me November 15th, Columbus, Pittsburgh.
Let's hope that you can reverse the curse of. Well, I mean, we've beaten a few times at home.
At home, yeah. The curse is at PPG.
Yeah, that's the bigger curse.
I hope you can make it too, man. Like, I haven't seen you in freaking years.
I will see if I can.
See if you can do that with our friends at Game Time.
Yeah, I will be going out a few days later to New Jersey.
Oh, go see the girly. Go see the girly friend.
Yes, and I will be seeing Devils Hurricanes while I'm there.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bat first this time since you went first last time.
That's gonna make my life a lot easier.
And I shouted out a vet last time. Shouting out a kid this time. Mikhail Pudia, congratulations on your first NHL goal.
Yes. Dude, the setup by Fantilli on that goal.
I kind of love Adams' setup way more than the finish.
Yes. No, Adams' move was great, but at the same time, dude, Stuart Skinner, man, what the hell is he doing? He was covering parts of the net that he didn't need to cover. And when the time that the puck slid across, it was just wide open.
He had no time to slide over.
Yeah.
I think he was too far out,
He had
which
such a bad game.
I think part of it was he was too far out, especially on that one.
So far out. So far out. He was way too aggressive in that game.
So not
Uh,
to blame
yeah.
Stewart necessarily, but to blame Stewart.
Yes. But also like it's
Props
multiple.
to the kids.
Yeah, things can
Silly
be
with
true at the
the
same
big
time. Stuart Skinner overcommits, but Ken Johnson. Adam Fantilli makes an unbelievable play. The other Michigan guy makes an unbelievable play. And Pudia scores.
Cole had an unbelievable entrance to set that up too. Like all three of those kids on
Dude,
that one
that
play.
line, Cole and Adam, that's one thing I've noticed about them this season. Their entrances have been phenomenal.
Oh
They're
yeah.
really good at getting the puck in the offensive zone. They don't need to dump and chase very often because they're so skilled that they can bring in the puck in
They're
themselves.
very fast carrying. They're able to protect it along the end
Yes.
boards.
You can see they look stronger. They're more confident with the puck, and they're allowing that to manifest themselves into carrying the puck and doing it themselves and trying to find other creative ways to distribute it so they can get something going.
What is
That's
our
a major difference that I've noticed in the first 8 games of the season compared to previous years.
what does our buddy Steve Dangle always like to say?
He likes to say a lot of things.
Where do you go when you want goals?
Go to
You
the net.
go to the store when you want bread, when you want goals.
You go to the net.
Damn right.
Yeah.
So Michael Pudia just parked right there. And Tuna, congrats, kid.
God, Cole had a goal and 2 assists in that game.
Adam had 1-1, right?
He did.
So those
Mark
were
had
2 of the 3 stars that night, and then Elvis was the third.
Yeah, Elvis looked good. Monahan had 2 goals.
Yeah,
It's just,
of course he did.
and so my donkey defender is not going to go to this player, but a quick shout out. I'm going to start for Matthew Olivier.
I was gonna say, I thought that was gonna be it because, like, this dude.
Yeah, it's
We'll talk about him in a second, but like that just
Yeah.
surprises me that that's not your pick.
I'm having a tough time between two guys right now. But you know what? Because I have so much confidence in this young player, and I think he's going to be good, so he's going to have many more chances at getting a donkey defender. I am going to go with the vet, and I'm going to give it to Sean Monahan, who has had an unbelievable start to this season. He has been so good on that line with Yegor and Kirill. They've been the best line in terms of expected goals percentage in the National Hockey League, even more than McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman.
Which that sucks for McDavid. I hope he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I hope he's going to be okay. But the fact that he ended up going back to Edmonton instead of traveling with the team is probably not a good sign.
No.
Now, how bad that is, I guess we'll find out. But
hey, Sean, that dude, we know he's got something to play for this year.
so
Like,
much to this year.
He's got, we talked about it through the preseason. We talked about it when he signed here. Just how much emotion is fueling this guy this year.
Mm-hmm. It's the one thing I say about this team so far, and we talk about structure, and it's obviously there, and you see it with the impact that Dean Evason's made so far.
Right.
But in a strange way, in a season that you would expect so many emotions and so much, I guess, baggage and weight, you would expect that to hold you down. No, this team is playing unbelievably free.
This man's
What?
dude. 8 games played, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points, and a +3.
Yeah. And he's really good. He has been phenomenal for them.
And he's forechecking, he's bodying guys. Like, he's using, Like we know he does this because he's 6'2" and 197 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
And we know how much he loves using that.
Yeah. Like we talked about that line and how they just complement each other. Like right now, they're figuring out lines that work. Oh my gosh. So obviously we talk about the best line in the NHL. But and then we just mentioned Pudia with Adam Fantilli and Cole Sillinger. But let's get into the Nashville game for a second here. Zach Aston Reese with Matthew Olivier and James Van Riemsdyk.
JVR has been a very pleasant surprise.
I'm not terribly surprised at how effective of a player JVR is, even still at this age. I know he doesn't have the speed that he once had, even though he's never been the fastest skater. But no, his bread and butter has always been going to the net. That's his impact. So he fits that line is very much crash the net. And whether it's with Corrali on that line, or if LeBanc is playing with JVR, there's been a few different combinations that they've tried. They all seem to work. That is the thing that's getting me right now about this team. I haven't seen too many lines so far this season that I've been like, oh, that one clearly doesn't work. A lot of it there's been a lot of good that I've seen from just about most of the combinations that he's come up with.
Oh yeah. Czar has looked like we expected. We already knew this guy was a great player.
Yeah, he's really good for your bottom six, particularly your fourth line. I mean, he's got 2 goals and an assist through 8 games, so he's contributing offensively probably at a higher clip than he typically would in a season.
Yeah,
but it's just the beginning. But he's doing the things that you expect him to do. He's so great defensively for a winger. And what do I always say about your fourth line? Sure, you'd like some physical play from them, but more than anything, if you can get your fourth line or even just your bottom six in general to neutralize the game on most nights, you leave it to your top six to win most nights.
you need
your top six is killing it.
You need the bottom six to be able to just go out there and make life hell for whoever they get, thrown up against.
Yeah.
Which then allows for the top six to be the flashy guys and do the heavy offensive lifting, which, can I just say, friggin' Matt, where did this come from?
No idea.
So, all right, because I know we're basically getting into the meat and potatoes of the games. Donkey defenders. Mikhail Pudia, Sean Monahan. Go to DraftKings and bet on those guys if you want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those are great picks just because obviously we know how well Sean's been playing. And, Pudia, milestone, first goal. Many more to come from that kid. Anyway, so I want to start with, obviously, we haven't talked since the ending of the Toronto game.
Yes, where they killed the Leafs. You're welcome. I had a good feeling. I knew that would happen.
Oh my God. The fact that was game 3 of 4 where they put a 6 spot up.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that caption, is that why they call it the 6, was mwah.
Yeah, that was
I love all the memes that are coming from this stretch and how fun the team's been. Obviously the one that's been going around is buying stock on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tyre. Thanks, Jeff. Big shout outs to Pete Blackburn and Dylan Tyre for all the stock stuff. Because yeah, you should. The stonks are going up.
Yes. And for good reason. They're a feel-good story for a lot of people. And for us, it's a reason to believe again in an organization that hasn't really given us many reasons to believe in previous years. But I would say my belief is at the highest level it's been in several years. Probably even higher than what it was during the 21-22 season.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's easier to buy into this because it feels more sustainable and more proven. And a lot of that just comes from Don Waddell and Dean Evison.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy to think that the majority of the scoring during the Toronto game, which by the way, they put up 38 shots.
Yeah.
And wasn't that was Dennis Hildeby, that's right.
Yes.
That poor kid. That poor kid getting shelled like that. I felt a little bad for him.
Yeah.
But the majority of the scoring coming from the bottom six was very impressive to me.
Yeah, I mean the whole first period, JVR, Justin Danforth, and it's good to have Danny back.
Danny had 3 points in that game. Olivier had 2 goals. Terry put up a .929 save percentage.
JVR scoring against his old team.
Yeah, that one's got to be like pretty special for him.
It did make me laugh. I did listen to the post game recap on Sportsnet. Why can't I think of the guys' names? It's the 2 guys who do a podcast about the Leafs, and one of them called Nick Robertson "No Stakes Nick."
Oh,
because he only scores when
it doesn't matter. Poor Nicky Bobby. Poor Nicky Bobby. Unlike Ricky Bobby, he does not wake up in the morning and piss excellence.
Yeah.
Matty Nyes getting one because of course that kid's gonna be something special for them. And then another former Leaf that got in on something. Czar on an Olivier.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot he was the Leaf.
So that one was just crazy to me because think about how we perceive the Leafs in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
We always know they have a game like that, early on.
Yeah, that's what they've been for the last few years. I'd say the last 4 or 5. They're very, very. They start off. I would say the first 3-4 games they look great. The first game they lose. The first game they lose to Montreal or Ottawa. The next 3 games they look great, and they have another inexplicable loss. People are concerned about the first 10 games, and then from November until February they're phenomenal. And then in the playoffs, need I say more? This was that second loss for the Leafs.
It's kind of fun to be that team that gave them the yips.
Yeah.
As much as I do love those boys, it's kind of fun to be on the other end of that.
It is. It is, absolutely. Because I would say losing to the Bruins twice, as they did in 18 and 19, sucked for them, and they lost to the Capitals in 17. But those are series I would say you expected to lose probably 2 of those 3 series.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Blue Jackets series did a lot more damage than people want to admit, because even though it was a best of 5 and that team had such a poor start to the season, it's one of those situations where it's we couldn't even beat the Blue Jackets in the series.
Right.
And that was after we lost Panarin and Bobrovsky. So, but anyways, yeah. So one thing I did want to talk about was one of the guys who isn't the most consistent on the Blue Jackets. David Severson had a brutal game in Nashville.
Poor dude. This poor dude. Like, we love him. Don't get me wrong.
I like him a lot. Yeah, I've been open about that.
Great.
But he had an
Like,
awful game.
he's a
Awful.
great acquisition, but we also like knew all of his flaws coming in.
Yeah, I knew who he was. Like, I know that these games come. They're frustrating as hell when they happen. But I want to say, his game against Nashville was awful.
Ugh.
His game against Florida was not very good. Other than that, though, had a great game against Buffalo. He had a goal and he was a +4.
Mhm.
Really good against Edmonton, was a +2. Toronto, he was fine.
That
Like,
one,
these are the up and downs you get from David Severson, but so far this season, he has been more up than he has been down.
that turnover, when he's down, like we know this
Yes.
from the last 2 years, when he's down and he makes a mistake, it's a big mistake.
Like a shocking mistake.
It's like, how did that even happen?
Yeah. Like, he's not
Um,
prone to little mistakes ever. If he
I
makes
mean,
a mistake, you will know.
oh yeah, because you'll blatantly see it.
Yes.
Whether that's falling down and turning the puck over to Brady Shea, who sets up Jonathan Marchessault for the overtime winner, or, swatting a puck like a baseball bat into his own net, just like him and poor Sammy Vatanen did plenty of times for the Devils. Poor Sammy
Yeah.
Vatanen.
Yeah.
Ugh. Remember that one game against the Ducks where there were like 3 own goals and like
So bad.
I want to say like one was
Those were the
Davo
trenches
and
for
2
Devils.
were Sammy. Like,
Yeah, that was absolute trenches for Devils fans.
whew. But this game woke up a guy like Alex Carrier, like Marchessault, who finally got off a schneid a bit. Um, Zach LaRue got his first NHL point on the Carrier goal.
Yeah.
We talked about Zach LaRue in our text messages.
He's an interesting player, isn't he?
This kid, he's got the label of like the dirtiest player that we've seen since like Matt Cook.
He's got a very punchable face.
Yeah, he does.
Like a very, very punchable face.
He's got like a Beavis face.
Yes. I think it's the hair. It's the perm for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one was kind of just like a whatever. Obviously, like, you texted me the overall franchise record at Bridgestone, and I was like, well, this is PPG West. Oh boy.
I was here. I could look it up again if you'd like.
I don't know if the people want to hear this, but I think it'd be important for them to hear it. Especially for like hope for next year.
Yes.
At least we took that one to overtime and got a point out of it, though, which is
Yeah, like I said, and the other good thing is you only play them in Nashville once a year now. The
Right.
Blue Jackets are 9-36, 1-7. So they had one tie in there. Yeah, so basically 9-36-7 in Nashville.
Oh my God. And a lot of that was when we were still Western Conference opponents, right?
Oh, that's where a ton of it is, yeah. Because we were in the same division as them.
Right.
It
Which
was
still
us,
feels weird
us,
to me.
Detroit, Minnesota, Chicago, and Nashville.
That still feels so weird to me to have Columbus and Detroit in the Central Division, even back then.
The simpler days of 30 teams in the National Hockey League and one of them being Atlanta.
It's so strange because like the Capitals were in like a Southeast division, and that's not South.
With Atlanta and Tampa and Carolina and
Florida.
The only
It's like,
division that really made sense in the East was the Northeast with
yeah, because that was
Montreal.
basically the present day Metro without Columbus.
No, that was the Atlantic.
Oh, was that yeah. Okay.
Yeah. because it was Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, Boston, and
Basically the Canadian division from when we had the 56 game year.
it's basically.
And then, obviously we get into the game that happened last night when we're recording this, thumping these Oilers. What happened?
I tell you, I had a strange feeling that we would beat them, because they were in a second of a back-to-back. They had to go overtime to beat Detroit. I never would have guessed that we would have beat them 6-1. Never in a million years would I guess
Well, that also goes back to, the missed tripping call that led to McDavid's injury, like barely a minute in.
I think that set the tone early because that's such a blow, not just in terms of your on ice production, but just a blow to the bench. You lose your captain, your best player, the best player in the league, and not
Best
only,
player in the world.
but yeah, you don't even get a penalty. You don't even get a power play.
You just kind of get away with it.
Then you end up taking a penalty. The Blue Jackets score immediately on a power play. And it just kind of felt like that was that. Like the rest of the Blue Jackets played a good, complete 60 minutes of hockey, but there's no doubt about it that their best period was the first period. They were all over them the first period.
3 stars from that game, Elvis, with a 1 goals against average and a 969. Nice.
Dude, when we took that penalty with like a minute left, I was like,
I know.
Here, aren't we?
I was like, don't do it, boys. Don't do it, boys.
It was still a good game for Elvis, and I know like 1 goal at the end. What does it matter? I'm not saying that kills anything, but having a shutout there would have been
so good for him, especially because that was his first start in 13 games.
13 games
or 13 days.
Yeah.
13 games. I was like, yeah.
They'll have taken the net a little bit because
I think the burnout is still kind of there.
Yeah. Danilo taken the net a little bit from him. He's had some solid performances. So, it's very much when you look at our goaltending situation, it's earn your time. Take the net by playing well.
Right.
These two guys have to challenge each other. I don't care which one it is. I don't care if it's Danilo Tarasov. I don't care if it's Elvis Merzlikins. One of these guys has to establish himself as a starting goalie. Or at the very least, even better, both of them.
I mean,
capability and push each other, and maybe you have a tandem that actually plays decently. We haven't
seen 1A 1B it, because like I'm looking at this now. Elvis has only played the 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
He got the 1 win yesterday. A 276 goals against and a 900 save percentage, which again, small sample size, 900 is fine.
You know what? 900 at this point compared to what we've had in previous seasons, I think I'd take it.
And then Daniil, 5 games, 3 wins, a 342 and an 886. Yeah. Which again, small sample.
Yeah, I mean, it's too hard to judge off of such small sample sizes, but
good little goalie competition going on.
Someone take the net, 900 might be enough to get the bulk of the starts here. And honestly, for a team that's not expected to make the playoffs, you can survive on 900 goaltending and still have a fun, successful season.
I do think it's just kind of like, because the goal that ended the shutout, the stat line is Matthias Ekholm from Darnell Nurse and Corey Perry. What a fucking annoying stat line of a goal to give up with just those names.
Yeah.
Because like Matthias Ekholm, great player, great defenseman that has some offense to him.
Would expect to get it done on the power play.
Yeah. Darnell Nurse, pain in the ass, both on the ice and in his contract.
I was going to say in the contract. Yeah. And then Corey Perry, need we say more?
I was going to say, do we really? Because he's Corey fucking Perry.
Corey Perry, yeah.
He's, obviously Stanley Cup winner, Hall of Fame bound, but this point in his career, he's just a pest.
Yeah.
He's kind of just there, you know?
Yeah, he's there to be a pain in the ass.
And he's been that for his whole career, essentially.
He's there for two reasons. He's there to be a pain in the ass, and he's there to lose in the Stanley Cup final.
Well, we got that last year.
He's done that for the last several years, ain't he?
Oh, yeah. I wonder if they're going to deal him at the deadline to someone who's going to go to the cup final and then lose.
The Blue Jay.
Oh, God. Hey, I'll take the run.
I'll take the run.
So I wonder, yeah, because like coming up, we're 4-3-1 through 8, which is kind of perfect for the kind of team that's been constructed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of skill, there's a lot of grit, there's a lot of heart to a lot of these guys. And if they can just kind of stay afloat.
Here's the other thing. And I want to remind people of this. Think about what you've lost. Obviously, there's Johnny. Obviously, there's Line who you traded.
But there's also Matisse from years ago that's still lingering.
I mean, this season.
Just from this season, yeah.
Also, Dima and your captain, Boone.
Your captain's gone for God knows how long. Obviously, we're going to get Ronnie back sooner rather than later.
So you think about, like, between Johnny...
And Goody, because Goody's gone for God knows how long. Kent's gone for God knows how long.
Yes. So between Johnny, Kent, Patrick, Dima, Boone, think about how many goals you are losing in your lineup. And they are averaging 4.125 goals per game. Now, that's obviously unsustainable, but I think is the biggest surprise. I'm not surprised about the structure I see and how much more organized the defense looks. The defense is still not perfect, but it is
but
much
they look great.
In the last few years.
They still look great.
So much better. The structure is working. But the thing that is shocking me so far with how many guys you're missing is their ability to still create offense.
They're stepping up. We wanted the young guys to do that, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we didn't expect to have the best first line in all of hockey.
No.
For expected goals.
Monahan so far is as advertised. Yegor, it looks as good as we hoped he could be. So does Kirill Marchenko. He's phenomenal. But think about the guys who are contributing. We talk about the bottom six. That's what is really boosting this team right now, in my opinion.
I think the biggest microcosm of that is Matthew Olivier, because this fucking guy.
Yes. 4 goals already. His career high is 5. We are
4 goals, 2 assists in 8 games, and he's a +3.
Zach Aston Reese in 8 games has chipped in 2 goals and an assist. Kevin LeBanc has only played 6 games. He's given you 4 assists. JVR has already scored a few goals. He's made an impact on the power play. These are guys in the bottom half of your lineup who are contributing offensively. And you're not going to have that all year long, but that's been a massive boost in the short term. And when this starts to taper off a little bit, well, guess what happens, Jake? Eventually, you will get Dima back. Eventually, you will get KJ back. So my hope is if that can just continue for a little bit longer, by the time maybe that candle burns out a little bit, you'll have a new one to
You
light.
have the supplemental guys that you were supposed to have.
Yeah.
I just want to gush about Matt Olivier for a minute.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Because this freaking guy, it's very strange to call him a veteran.
Yeah, he's But he has played a lot of hockey.
Because he's played 6 years in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
Undrafted guy who's my age.
Yeah.
Essentially. Which freaks me out because that just means I'm getting old. You know?
Yeah.
Or at least I feel like I'm getting old. 1920, his debut with the Predators, right?
Yes.
8 games played. He had an assist and was a +1 for penalty minutes. Only skated like this guy's average is like 11 minutes a night.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
2021, he plays 30 games, gets 3 goals, 2 assists, and is a -1, which for a guy like him, I think bottom 6 guys, plus minus is a little more interesting to look at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think plus minus in the bottom 6 is a hell of a lot more indicative of the unit you play on than it does individually. So if you're only playing, 11, 12 minutes a night and your plus minus is bad, it's probably because you're on a bad team.
Holy shit. This guy had 70 penalty minutes in 30 games. Holy fuck.
Adam.
21, 22, he plays in 10 games. He gets an assist and is a -3 with 14 PIMs. First year with us in 22, 23, he plays in 66 games, by far the most amount of games he's ever played.
Yeah.
5 goals, 10 assists for 15 points. He's a -20 and has 81 penalty minutes. He had a game winner. Hey.
Nice.
And then last year he played in 54 games. He had 5 goals, 7 assists for 12 points and was a -4 with 70 PIMs again. He had another game winner, and then he had a game winner this year.
He also had a shorthanded goal last year. But here's the thing that kills me about Matthew Olivier is like, I remember when we traded for him, and my first immediate response was like, I think we gave up a 4th-round pick for him. I was like, a fourth.
I can't remember.
For like,
it was like a 4th or a 5th.
Who is like a slight enforcer, who probably isn't going to last long with the team. And here he is in his 3rd season with the team, and it looks like he's kind of carving out a permanent role, doesn't it?
Would you? This is something that I was thinking about, before we got on this call, because I was thinking about whether I was going to give a donkey to Matthew or whether you were going to do it or just something to talk about with Matthew Olivier, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're Don Waddell, because this guy is 27, he just turned 27, right?
Yeah.
Would you give him like a 3-year extension?
I mean, terms obviously going to determine probably how you'd feel about that, but I think I would, because I think they view him as a staple in the bottom 6.
He obviously, when we talk about core pieces of a lineup, you talk more about like the star-studded guys, your, number 1 center, your number 1 defenseman, your starting goaltender. We don't talk enough about core guys that are heart and soul guys in your bottom 6 or your bottom pair.
Yeah. Can I tell you?
I think Matt's kind of solidified himself as a core piece.
What's interesting though is like, if you're gonna do it, I think now's the time to do it.
Oh yeah.
The only concern I have, and this is less of a concern and more of an intrigue, if he continues this and he's scoring goals, like let's say by the trade deadline he has like 13 goals. We're not going crazy here. Let's say he has 13 goals.
13's fine.
A bottom sixer who doesn't make much money at all. I think he makes less than $1 million.
I don't know, probably.
He's got 13 goals.
I could look it up if you're not already. Because I've got the next story pulled up on my phone.
He makes 1.1 million a year.
1.1. Okay.
Does it not have a tiny bit of a Tanner Jeannot feel to you where you're like, maybe we could make a nice little bit of a profit in terms of assets? I'm just saying that would be something that I think that they should consider if this continues. We'll have to see if it continues.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say that I expect him to have 13 goals by the end of the season. It's been nice to see him score goals. I'm not going to continue to lump those expectations on him. I hope it does continue. But regardless if it does or it doesn't, there's no doubt about it in my mind. He's played all 8 games this season. They view him as a key player because they have him in the lineup every night. He went from a guy who maybe you don't have in the lineup every game to now they want him in the lineup every game.
He's kind of quintessential, isn't he?
He is. They like how he fits on the 4th line.
Or the 3rd, because he can play 3rd line kind of time.
I mean, if he scores goals like this, yeah.
And, he's still obviously your 3rd line has a bit more of a scoring punch than your 4th does, but you also want to have big bodies like that on there.
Yeah, I mean, because Danforth is tiny.
Danny's only 5'8".
Yeah, he's a smaller guy. So, yeah, no, I see that. The opportunity to put a big guy with maybe one of your smaller players who's very skilled as well. I think is
Doesn't LeBanc play center?
He's kind of I think
if he's not that great, then all right.
He's more wing than center, so
right.
I would keep him on the wing.
Because I was just trying to experiment with maybe a Danny, Kevin, Matthew thing.
Well, Danny would play center if that's the case.
Danny can play center. That's fair.
Yeah, but Kevin LeBanc is 5'11". He's not small, but he's not gigantic either. So I don't.
Matt know. Being 6'1".
It is interesting. Yeah, 3 right-hand shots on a line together would be interesting.
That would be fun.
But to be honest with you, I like how LeBanc and JVR look together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't split those 2 guys up. It's interesting. Those 2 guys that you bring in at the last minute on 1-year deals, and they have instantly clicked with each other. So, I mean, JVR is the guy who's clearly trying to keep his career alive because I think he still wants to continue to play. And maybe if he plays well with CBJ, maybe he gets dealt at the deadline, or maybe he turns that into another year with CBJ or another year with someone else in free agency. Kevin LeBanc is in a similar spot, but different. He's trying to keep his career alive in terms of he wants to stay in North America. He wants to stay in the NHL. He doesn't want to go overseas to make his money. So, he turned a really good preseason into a deal with the Blue Jackets.
Sorry, Devils fans, but he's ours now.
He's playing well, and if he continues this, he's a guy who could get a contract either with us or with someone else in free agency. So 2 guys who you get at the last minute who, you needed A, because you needed more players, B, you needed players to put on your cap, immediately link up and have chemistry just like that. And they've never played together.
And it doesn't matter if it's with Sean, if it's with
or if
Adam.
It's I think Danny would be a good fit with those guys too.
Danny would work really well.
Danny works with everybody though.
We've always known that Justin Danforth was like the Swiss Army knife.
He is the absolute Swiss Army knife of the bottom 6. He can play with anybody.
Oh man, I kind of want to start calling him Swiss.
Wasn't he playing in Switzerland when we got him?
I think he might have been.
Hockey's back, baby.
We're here. It's about
Thank,
time.
thank God. I am so happy to be back. You going to any games this year?
I actually just recently got tickets for November 15th against Pittsburgh. Yeah, a little Metro
Oh,
rivalry.
love it. Well, I hope you got those tickets through game time.
I don't know. I would hope so.
With hockey being back, the excitement of watching Puck live is at an all-time high, especially after what a great season last season was with Florida
Oh,
winning the cup. I mean, God, the finals were amazing. It's never been a better time to be a hockey fan. Am I right?
no. I think we're in for an even better story this year.
Me too.
You ever like notice what you ever just think about when you're living life,
Mhm.
the atmosphere in the arena
Yeah.
and just like feel it while you're like just living your life?
Hmm.
Just the chill of going into your seat and you can feel the chill of the ice while you're sitting down, cracking your beer
Literally,
open and
the chill of the ice more than anything. Yeah.
um just the, you know, hearing everybody chatter before everybody comes out. The experience of when everybody like it's so quiet. It's a lot quieter to watch a game live when they're just kind of skating around.
It is.
And
But
then all of a sudden you get a big boom off a
yes,
hit off the boards.
hit off the boards, the goal, and the cannon shooting off, or you know, you get the sounds of everything though. Doesn't matter if it's hockey, basketball, or Sabrina Carpenter concerts. Uh, Game Time is an excellent app to grab tickets to just about any event that you might be looking forward to this year. You're looking forward to that Penguins game in November. I'm looking forward
Mhm.
to that Penguins game in November.
Hopefully we can make that happen.
Yes. Game Time picks filters so it can, filter out all the fluff so you can get incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. Makes things a lot easier so you can get the deal that is right for you.
I
Uh,
I always liked what you're able to do is they give you selections of like this is worth this much and then you can click on that section in that seat and they have a little panorama view so you can get a little bit more view of just what's in front of you.
yeah.
You can actually look around a little bit. That's a really nice feature that I like.
Yeah, I love it. The great thing about the app is that it makes things so convenient to look through it. I mean, you get seat views, so you can get a panoramic view from your seat on the app before you buy. Lowest price guarantee or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference.
They kind of have
Uh,
like an insurance policy too. Like
yeah, that's awesome. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the industry. Curation makes it easier to save more on whether it be sports or concerts, comedy. Comedy is a great thing.
I
Um,
haven't been to a comedy show in a long time.
I saw Jim Gaffigan last year, and he was brilliant.
It's already been like 3 years since I saw Jeff Dunham.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Download the Game Time app, create an account, and if you use the code THPN, you get $20 off your first purchase.
$20.
$20. It's $20 for free. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What is it? It's Game Time. That's gametime.co. Gametime.co.
What time is it?
It's game time.
And
There you go.
that gets us into this article that I want to go through with you
Sure.
from the Hockey Writers and our buddy Mark Shag,
Yes. Yes.
because I kind of love this. We
Mark does,
already know. Say that again.
Mark does great work. I love Mark. So
Oh yeah. He had this tweet earlier today about Kit Kat coffee creamer.
I didn't know about this.
I kind of love it and I kind of want to try it.
Yeah, I want to try it too. I
Because I'm
love
a Kit Kat fiend.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Kit Kat's the best.
Plus, like, I love the mocha duos. You ever had the Kit Kat mocha duos?
No.
Dude.
Uh,
Oh, they're so good. So Mark puts out this piece. We all make fun of hockey nicknames because they can be so bland and basic,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
They're very, very cheesy with how common you can just add an ER to somebody's name or, something like what the article says here. We all call Zach Z, or, Adam is Mo, right? Because his full name's Adamo.
Yeah.
His birth name's Adamo, technically. So they just call him Mo, which is fine, which is cool and whatever. But apparently some of these guys have some really weird ones in the locker room,
hmm
and the writers do too.
Okay. I'm excited about this. I want to hear where this is going.
Do you want me to just go through the list, and then if something piques your interest, I could tell you more in the article?
Yes, please.
Sean Corrali, Nightmare.
Okay. I like it.
What do you call something that's the opposite of what it means? Oxymoron, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I had my first fight in juniors and it didn't go very well. And they started calling me Nightmare. I think I got beat up pretty good. One of the Russians, Daniil Tarasov is his name, different one.
No, there's two Daniil Tarasovs?
I guess so. They linked to an Elite Prospects page later.
Okay.
He started calling me Sean Nightmare Corrali.
Jesus.
Let's see this. Actually, I kind of want to see this really quick.
Well, I mean, if it's in juniors, he played in juniors a long time ago. He was drafted in 2011, so it would have to be someone else.
Daniil Tarasov, a skater who plays uh with Chamonix in League Magnus. Where the fuck is that?
I can't believe that there's another Daniil Tarasov.
He's a skater. He played with the Sharks in 14-15.
What?
He played 5 games and had an assist with the Sharks. He was a career AHL guy, I guess, for a while, and then he goes to Dynamo in 15-16 after a stint in San Jose for a little bit. And he's been in the KHL ever since. Apparently, he played 5 games with the Red Star and then went to the French League.
Oh my
for this
God.
year.
You're not fucking with me.
I'm not fucking with you.
Oh my God. That is crazy.
Is that not the craziest tangent on a nicknames discussion that we've had?
So, and it's the same exact spelling.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Dude. Kind of want to bring him over to the Monsters or something. You know?
Damn. That's crazy.
We got way off track talking about Daniil Tarasov II.
Anyway, yeah.
Jet Greaves, Cheddar Bob.
Jet Greaves is Cheddar Bomb?
8 Mile.
Oh, okay.
It's an 8 Mile reference, yeah.
Okay.
Apparently another buddy who he played with called him Cheddar Bob all the time, but he doesn't know where that originated from. But the basic result is that it's, an 8 Mile character. Goofy character, but also remembered for his heart and loyalty. I think that's pretty Jet.
Yes.
That's pretty much Jet. Speaking of a guy that we've been talking about all night long so far, Matt Olivier,
Mm-hmm.
the Biloxi Bull.
Yeah, because he's from there.
Yeah, he's from Biloxi, Mississippi. This was apparently from Nashville, his
Yeah.
Nashville days.
That would make
Because, yeah. And with the way he plays, it fits.
Yeah, he is a bull. Like, yeah.
The line that he played on was with Yakov Trenin and Colton Sissons at the start. Yakov obviously was the Yak, and Colton was the Colts. So
Red
they became the herd line.
I love that.
I kind of love that.
Yeah, Red Bull does not give Matthew Olivier wings. He gives wings Red Bull.
Maybe when his NHL career is done, he'll be playing with Munich.
Or maybe he could just play for the Red Wings.
Apparently,
Red
Z
Bull,
has like
Red
6.
Bull wings.
Apparently, Werenski has like 6 other nicknames for him.
Yeah.
I Train Hockey, I Train Driscoll, which were fantasy football team names that he has. I guess they're going to do a feature on the Jackets Fantasy Football League at some point. Speaking of Z, Ted Yasso.
Oh my God. That's pretty funny. I like that.
Obviously, you know the Ted Lasso reference.
Yeah, and also just like him, like with the stash, it fits.
Yeah, it kind of does. He looks like Ted, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a little bit of that in him with the stash, so I like it.
Apparently, the Yasso part is because that's a brand of Greek yogurt bars that he got the guys into.
Interesting.
So, I don't know, like a healthy, sugary thing.
Yeah. Those guys are into all that crazy stuff.
And then another one, some of them call him Snowman because his jersey number is 8.
It's kind of weak.
Fantilli once told Werenski, "Hope you have a good game, Snowman." And then in response to Snowman, Z would wish Fantilli good luck. Good luck out there, hot dogs.
Because of 11.
Because of 11.
I'm concerned about this team.
But even apparently,
about them to concern because their nicknames are weird.
apparently, dude, this whole thing's about weird nicknames. What are you talking about? Apparently, even with the number change to 19, at least with Z, hot dogs is gonna stick.
Yeah, I feel like the second you call a guy a hot dog, that's kind of just what they are the rest of their lives.
I feel like everybody else should just call him Glizzy. Jordan Harris is known as Huncho.
Billy.
What? Glizzy Fantilli. I like that. Jordan Harris is known as Huncho.
Okay.
From high school because they listened to Amigos a lot.
Fair.
JVR is just called Vanzy, and that's from way back in the day.
Okay.
When he was in Philly, Michael Roffel called him Vanzy.
Talking about throwing it back. Jesus.
Hell yeah. So
God.
then he called him Rafsy. And then it just became this joke. And they still call each other
these names. It's just, oh, you're Van Riemsdyk. Yeah, you're Vanzy.
Right.
I call you Rafsy.
That's
Come
hockey
on,
players, man.
Come on, boys.
Apparently they still call each other Vanzy and Rafsy to this day.
Good Lord.
Sillinger is known as Meatball.
Okay.
The number one rule when it comes to the nickname, the one thing is I know you can't choose it. So whatever the boys are calling you, that's what the boys call you.
Yeah.
I've been called Meatball my first year by some of the guys because I'm a pretty big eater, I guess. Just in general, apparently his portions are really huge.
Interesting.
Like always getting seconds, things like that. So I guess that's where Meatball comes from. And according to Mark, I guess this means the next time Silly has a great game, we got to call him this spicy meatball. You know about this next one because this one's probably our favorite. What'd you say?
Said I think that nickname is quite silly.
You know about this next one because I think we all love this one.
Okay.
Monahanov.
Yeah, that's brilliant because it's just him connecting with the Russians. I love the answer. I think we talked about them talking the other day
Yeah.
about what language they speak, and they were just like, "Yeah, we
Oh
speak."
yeah, the entire tweet about speaking Spanish.
Yeah,
That was a big chinny thing, really, but like I love that.
yeah.
And I love that they've introduced him to some Russian music and he's getting into it.
I love it. And he's just like, "Yeah, it's good. I'm learning."
Czar is known as Aston 316,
Okay.
between Stone Cold and Austin 316. I guess the Bible verse.
Okay. Well, Austin 316 isn't that like the thing that he does? Like those are the t-shirts, Austin 316.
He
I don't know
has,
much about wrestling, but I've seen the shirts. I know it's a thing.
I guess so, because like, um, apparently his wrestling name was Zachary Banks. I don't know if he like actually wrestled like when he was. Oh, my brother and his friends did WWE wrestling. My wrestling name was Zachary Banks. I've never gotten to see it live.
Yeah, gotcha.
Even with all the shows that came through Pittsburgh, apparently he never got to see a wrestling show. But he does have a t-shirt that says Aston 316, which is really cool. I kind of want one.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Damon Severson is known as Army. Apparently that's been a thing since Jersey.
Okay.
They called him Army for a few months. Running joke, because my name is Severson. They were like Seven Nation Army, haha, and then they ran with it.
Oh,
So they just started calling him Army. What a weird, like, how do you come up with like, oh, Seven Nation Army? We'll just call him Army.
yeah. Some of these are weak.
Some of these are kind of like, huh. Kirill Marchenko, Arbozniak. Your guess is as good as mine. That was his weirdest nickname and provided that spelling. I don't know if you want to try to translate this in Google or something.
I'm okay.
Arbozniak. Something about that makes me want to think something like trees.
It's because of the hair.
Maybe the hair. It could be like because he's, I don't know. I don't know. I could look it up afterwards just because now I'm really curious. You know,
Yeah.
Elvis was known as Elvis Mersley Boy in Switzerland because they couldn't pronounce his last name, so it just became Mersley Boy.
They had so many different ways they could have gone. His name is Elvis, and they're just like, we'll call him Mersley Boy. Because they couldn't pronounce Leakins.
I don't know. That's really weird. Oh, we get the tuna story.
Leakins.
We get the tuna story from Pudia.
Okay.
Tuna was the weirdest one he's heard. He didn't remember who started it, but it started in Cleveland. The boys in the room have made sure that it sticks around so no one forgets. So he doesn't know.
It's interesting because that's the nickname that Tatar has.
Yeah, I mean I get it with Tatar too.
Yes, because it's Tatar sauce.
Yeah. I get it with Pudia in a sense. Because if you just say the name Pudia, you can kind of.
They're not PG.
What?
I think there's other ways that they can go with it, but they're not PG. So.
Right, but I'm just trying to think of like you could stretch tuna out of Pudia somehow.
Why don't they just call him Tudia?
Tudia. That's really bringing some gas to that.
I agree.
Yurachek is known as the Czech mob. Huh?
The stinker of a nickname.
That is a stinker. David Yurachek is known as the Czech mob by himself just because the last couple of years in Cleveland, they had like 3 or 4 Czech guys and they were all the Czech mob. So that just kind of stuck with him when he came up, I guess.
He should be the Czech Don.
This consisted of Yurachek, Svozil, Nazco, and somebody else that we don't know that he referred to as Taff.
Yeah, interesting.
That makes sense. Yurachek, Svozil, Nazco, a little bit of a Czech mob.
Yeah, no, I think that's sweet.
I like that. And then the beat writer names. Portsy is known as Sportsline.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. You're only adding an S, but I kind of like it.
I mean, apparently that goes back to his high school days.
Yeah, I mean,
So it goes back a long way.
sports. His last name is Portsline.
Yeah.
Sportsline kind of feels obvious.
Brian Hedger is known as Butter. You don't know this because this is a weird one. He shared a story about being at a friend's house and trying to get a piece of chocolate. He found a butter knife which happened to be sharper than expected. This is a trigger warning because this gets kind of wild. Then again, it's almost Halloween time, so like, oh boy. He attempted to cut off a piece of chocolate that was in the freezer, and the knife cut his hand so deep it went to the bone.
What butter knife did these people have?
Butter knife isn't that sharp, dude. It's not supposed to be that
way.
sharp.
There's no way.
I don't think they're ever supposed to be that sharp.
Steak knife for a butter knife.
So yeah, for everybody that knows the story, they call him Butter or Butter Knife.
That's nuts.
And then Shag is Shaggy. And this is very, very simple. Because it's from his childhood. Hey Shaggy, where's Scooby? Gave the same answer every time. Why, getting a Scooby snack, of course. What else would he be doing?
I think Shaggy should be Aston Reese's nickname.
Why?
Because Austin Powers. Let's shag, baby.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
I think that's a name.
Groovy, baby, yeah. Or just Aston Powers.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's like right there, man. That would have been great.
That's awesome. Man, I love this time of year because like everybody, we talked about this in the last episode. It's such a wacky time of year to look at standings and look at all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Jackets are in the second wild card right now with a 562 points percentage after 8 games.
Yes.
The only team ahead of them is Washington, who's played 1 less but has 1 more point, and their points percentage is 714.
Jesus.
The top 3 in the Atlantic kind of makes sense in terms of just how numbers work. Because you got Florida, 11 games, 15 points for a 682. Tampa, 9 games, 12 points, a 667. And Toronto, 10 games, 11 points, a 550. In the Metro, it gets way crazier. Because the top team, because they've played the most games, has the most points, but the lowest points percentage out of the 3.
Yeah.
The Devils have 6 wins, 14 points, and a 583.
Yeah.
The Rangers have 8 games, 6 wins, 13 points, and an 12. And the Hurricanes have 6 wins in 8 games for 12 points and a 750. What the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man, the biggest surprise is just to me just how bad um, Pittsburgh and Philly have gotten off to a start this season. I would say that I expected them to be great, but the like
I mean,
three.
we talked about plenty of that with Jari last show.
Oh my God,
The fact that he got sent down.
yeah. Granted for conditioning, but still.
And, you know, the night that we're recording this is Flowers' last game in Pittsburgh, which is a whole story in itself.
Yeah, I hope they give him his flowers.
I mean, did you see the display?
I did not actually.
The display is gorgeous because it's just flowers in the shape of 29 with a big rose made of roses.
That's awesome.
It's gorgeous. These poor Flyers, bro. Holy shit, these poor Flyers. Wow. Because, like, there's Columbus at second wild card with a 562. There's 3 teams with a 500 record and 9 points trailing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Wings, the Habs, and the Bruins all have a 4-4-1 record. What the fuck?
Yeah, another interesting start to the season for the Atlantic. The Sabres are mediocre again. The Senators look mediocre again.
This is weird seeing a 450 sandwiched in between 4 500 records.
Yeah. It's so early in the season because teams haven't played a lot of games. Some have played more than the others. As you mentioned, like the Panthers played 11, the Devils have played 12, and then you got teams like Washington have only played 7. And in the West, it's a little bit more balanced. But
the Jets finally went down after they were trying to chase the first 10-0-0 start since the Leafs in the 90s and the Sabres in the early 2000s.
Well, it's a good thing that they didn't do that because neither of those teams won titles. So if they're trying to keep their hopes of the Stanley Cup alive, always good to not follow in the same suit as the Leafs and the Sabres.
Well, the part where it gets weird because it's linear in the Central.
Yep.
Jets 8-1-0 with 16 points and an 889. Dallas 9 games, 7 wins, 14 points, a 778. And the Wild 8 games, 5 wins, 12 points, a 750. But then in the Pacific, you've got Vegas leading the charge.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got LA and Vancouver. Vancouver has 1 less point, but they have the better points percentage.
Yeah, because they have a game at hand on both Los Angeles and Calgary, who they're tied with points in. Seattle's got 9 points in 9 games. Edmonton's got 9 points in 10 games, but they're off to a slow start. That'll change.
Again, 3 teams with 500 records just below the playoff line because Colorado finally started winning a little bit.
Then there's the Sharks. The Sharks are
Sharks.
Working.
Those Sharks, man. I was just listening to Sharks by the Morning just to pump myself up for this. Because I was getting out of my burnout, and that's a banger of a song. If you haven't watched like Jimmy's Bottom Line on Sharks, you'll love it because that song jams. It's my favorite song off of their new record.
Ooh, breaking news.
Breaking news.
Matt Reppy got into another fight.
Oh, is he still down in Hartford?
No, he got into a fight today with the Rangers.
Oh, he's back up?
Yeah, they called him back up like 2 days later. He'll
Good.
be up and down a bunch this season, I would expect.
Think Utah's been off to a fun start with the 500 record. Like they started hot.
They've cooled down a little bit, but you know who hasn't? Dylan Gunther.
Dylan Gunther, dude, this guy.
So good. So
Rocket, Richard, Dylan Gunther. Early season Rockets, Dylan Gunther. I'm calling it now.
if you did the Rocket Richard after 5 games, I think he'd win it.
No, wouldn't Nico Heischer?
Well, that's now. If we were doing the first 5 games, I think it would have been Gunther. But right now, it is Heischer. Heischer leads the league in goals with 9.
Nico Heischer. It's weird. I never saw Nico as like a shoot first guy.
He really hasn't been, but I think that's maybe mentality change. Maybe that's a change that's happened under Sheldon Keefe. They want him shooting the puck a little bit more. He's
Could
got a
be.
good shot. You know, and so much is made about Jack Hughes for obvious reasons and deserved reasons. Meyer is a guy that you know can put the puck in the net that they're hoping a lot for. But you know, from the captain, I think Nico wants a little bit more out of himself, and he's providing it. He's been the Devils' best player so far, and it doesn't look like that's going to stop anytime soon.
Obviously, the other headlines around the league being Connor being out, and we don't know what's going on with that yet. Other than, you know, him going back to Edmonton for testing.
Yeah.
The other global series is about to kick off between Florida and Dallas.
Where's this one at?
Finland.
Oh yeah, I should have guessed.
Barkov, Heiskanen,
Yeah.
Lundell. Or Lindell. Wait.
I think both.
Are Lundell? No, because Anton. Wait. I'm thinking of Ryan Lomberg is who I'm thinking of.
Or are you thinking of Essa Lindell?
I think I'm thinking of both Lomberg and Essa Lindell.
Anton Lundell's also Finnish.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I knew Lundell, but part of my brain was thinking of Ryan Lomberg, who's now back in Calgary.
Yes.
And then the other part of my brain was thinking Essa Lindell, who's no longer a star, weirdly.
Essa Lindell now.
Essa's in St. Louis. Or am I thinking Foxa? Oh my God.
Essa Lindell is still very much a Dallas Star.
Radek Foxa is the one I'm thinking of who's a freaking Blue now.
And he's Czech. Brother, you are all over the map.
Dude, I told you I worked over 11 hours. I worked from 10 a.m. to 9:20 p.m. on a Sunday where we ran out of mushrooms, we ran out of spinach dip, we ran out of queso. I went through 3 pans of burgers within the first few hours. I was getting my ass kicked, and then I had to do all the dishes until 9:30 at night. It was a long day. And dude, I don't take breaks.
If you did, you'd be able to take time to look up what players are from Finland.
Who else is in for a big global series other than Barkey and Miro and Essa? And probably Lindell. Because I know those are the marketable guys. Is it just those 2 teams as well?
Where's Rope from?
Rope's French.
He is?
I believe so.
Nope, he's also Finnish.
Oh my God. Wait. I felt like he's played for a French team before.
Because most players don't play for France. No, he's definitely Finnish.
What the fuck? Oh my God. See, this is the problem because I feel like when it comes to European players, I spend so much time focusing on Sweden and Russians.
Yeah.
That like part of me, you know, like Slavkovsky's Czech. right?
No, he's Slovakian
Oh my God.
because him and
Oh,
Nemeth
that's right. Him and
were,
freaking Nemec.
yeah. So you're at least close with that. It's not like
I don't
French.
know what's going on with me tonight with not recognizing my nationalities for these guys. I know Aho's Finnish. One Aho is Finnish, the other one is Swedish.
Yeah, I was about to say actually he's Swedish, but referred to the other one.
Oh my God. I don't know what's going on with me with these nationalities tonight, but like Global Series is a big thing that's coming up.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And then, just going into November, hopefully we're gonna start seeing a lot of these guys get healthier.
A2 Luosterainen is also Finnish.
Luostarinen is also Finnish. Okay, that makes sense.
And
Is it just those two teams that are doing this Finnish Global Series? I think it's just these two.
I guess we'll see.
Because didn't they only send us and the Sabres? Or no, wait, the Avalanche were there
With
when we went
yeah.
for Global Series. I think it was Avalanche, Sabres, Columbus, and Toronto or something.
NHL Global Series.
Because ours was 23, I want to say. But that's kind of like the only other weirdly big story that's going around at this time of year.
Mm.
Other than I wonder what, because Ovechkin already has a couple of goals tonight.
Yeah, so Devils and Sabres already did theirs in Prague, and then this will be a 2-game set between the Panthers and Stars
It's just the two.
and that's it. That's it.
Got it. It's just the two of them. Cool. Where's Ovi at in his chase now? Because he's got 2 goals already tonight.
That would put him 38 back, if I'm not mistaken.
38. I wonder if this is going to count it already. 2 goals. No, so it didn't. So right now it says he's at 855.
Yeah.
That's kind of a nice even number, 855 and 700 assists for 1555 points.
That is very nice to look at.
That's very pleasant.
Aesthetically pleasing, as I would say.
He's a plus 46 in his career.
He's a plus 46. Jesus.
He's a plus 1 so far this year.
You'd think it'd be more than that.
In over 1,400 games played. The dude is 39. So I wonder if he's going to try his damnedest to get this by the end of this year.
He'll try his damnedest. I don't think he'll do it, but he'll do it at some point next year, and it'll be an incredible celebration when he does.
And then, obviously the other side of that coin, didn't we say that Olivier has more goals than Crosby and Ovechkin?
Well, I mean, goal scorer's goal,
Goal scorer's goal, Matt Olivier.
Goal scorer's goal.
So I wanted to end on this really stupid story.
Yes, I'm curious what this is.
Because all I wrote in my notes was gerbil story, and you were like, what is this? And I was like, dude, I don't want to give you any context.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
So for the context, over the last month and change, I've gotten really into some of these commentary YouTubers again. I shouldn't say again because this is the first time I've known of Jarvis Johnson.
I don't even know who that is.
Really fun creator that talks about a lot of current trends and things like that. And him and his buddy Jordan Adika have this podcast called Sad Boys.
Okay.
I don't remember which episode of Sad Boys I was watching because it was from a couple of months ago already. Where they talked about this guy in Columbus, Ohio, of all freaking places.
Okay.
Because if it's not fucking Florida, it's Ohio, where these crazy things happen. This guy gets arrested for breaking into a pet store, letting out a bunch of animals, and trying to steal gerbils
Okay.
by stuffing them in his damn pants.
Okay.
The cops found him like sleeping on a park bench and tried to arrest him while he was asleep.
Okay.
What the fuck is it with Ohio and these nutty ass stories?
I think Florida is even worse than that.
Oh yeah, I know Florida's worse than that, but like what is it with both of us? Like I know Florida's got that weird journalistic law that allows them to publish crazy headlines like that.
My favorite Florida story was the dude who was arrested for trying to steal his neighbor's driveway.
Steal his driveway. What?
He literally like dug up the cement
Oh my god.
and like the driveway. He just took the driveway.
I feel like this guy in the gerbil
All
story.
that was left was dirt.
This guy in the gerbil story, I know it's a little different, but he's the original SIMP with squirrels in his pants. He took a book out of Candace Flynn's
Yeah.
notes. I don't know, because like they tried to arrest him while he was still asleep, and like they were really aggressive with him instead of just trying to wake him up and then saying, "Hey, dude, what the fuck?" And I shit you not, this is the best part. This is the best little detail in this story. This guy's name, his actual honest to God last name,
Yeah.
Pancake. I'm
Gerbils,
not making this shit up, bro.
gerbils and pancakes, man. What a mix.
It's so stupid and I love it because like I don't know, there's just something about these weird stories that go viral and then there's names involved that you're like, this is something straight out of like a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like this is a cow and chicken story.
Can I attempt a Norm Macdonald joke that I saw earlier that I liked, that I think is perfectly stupid to end this podcast?
Go.
Yeah. So it's really a story about a frog who walked into a bank.
Okay.
The frog only had a few things on him, but he wanted to buy a house. So in order to buy a house, you got to get a loan.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes up to the window, speaks to the lady. She's wearing name tag. It says Mrs. Whack on it.
Mrs. Whack, okay.
Yeah, her name. And he goes up and he says, "Hello, I'd like to get a loan. I want to get a house loan." And she goes, "A loan? You're a frog." And he's like, "Yeah, but I want to buy a house. I need a loan." She goes, "Okay, what's your name?" And he goes, "Kermit."
Oh,
Unrelated.
okay.
So this frog is trying to get this loan, but the lady's kind of giving the frog a hard time. Well, what do you have on you? Do you have any items of goods? Do you have any valuables? Any collateral? And he hands her a shiny pink elephant. It's maybe like this big.
Okay.
This big. It really not much smaller than the frog, but not that big for human. So the lady goes to her boss and it's like, "Yeah, this frog wants a loan, and this is all he has." And he looks at it. He goes, "Huh. Well, it's obvious. It's a knick-knack paddywhack. Give that frog a loan."
Oh my God. What? Sometimes simple, clean humor, like
So stupid. Such a stupid joke.
oh, Norm
It made me laugh.
McDonald. Oh, Norm McDonald, you were a Weekend Update legend.
Mm-hmm. Just a legend in general.
I kind of should have, like, when you said Mrs. Whack, I don't know why my brain didn't think, like, oh, maybe her name is Patty.
Yeah.
So that's what got me.
I think that is the perfectly stupid way to end this episode.
Dude, the wheels on our wagon fell right off within these last like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But the wheels on the Blue Jackets wagon,
They're churning, baby.
oh, they're rolling.
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Rolling, 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 rolling. What? Oh man, I think we're tired.
I think we are exhausted.
Hey, again, birthday's coming up in about a week. I got that game on the 15th. Come say hi if you see me. I'll be around, I'm sure. If Jay's there, obviously we're gonna try to meet up and take a picture and maybe do something special if we can fit something in there.
Yes.
But we're rolling along, man. This is the kind of early season stuff that we love. Just getting to like, we're not into the nitty gritty. We can still be really stupid and goofy.
Yes. And positive.
It's been nice to be very positive for a change.
Yeah.
Mm. Let the wagon roll. Love y'all. We'll see y'all later.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.